We got a Mark V here. So it's our first Mark V, and we're doing simple, tiny little mods to it, right?
Yeah, really,
just real simple stuff. No, it's like the first one we work on, I guess we're going like...
Full race.
Yeah, I guess it's still bolt on. We're not building the motor, but a big giant pure turbo, meth injection, and then all the supporting pieces for fueling that he needed.
And tiny scissors.
Oh wow, children's scissors. Yeah, we'll learn and we'll show you guys what we're doing on this one. And then there'll be more Supras here after this. It's just a Mark V. It's, I guess, yeah, it's the GR's model, so it's the better one. So this customer actually owned two at one point. So me and Joe don't ever work on these, so we haven't opened the hood yet. Oh my God.
Well, Toyota would put it here, BMW would have put it here.
An hour later, we opened the hood.
Oh wait, it could be in like the grill or something.
That would be BMW like if it was in the grill. So the plan is pull the old turbo off. We're gonna mount this meth pump and the little tank in the area under the hood that's like back of the firewall on the passenger side. We're gonna have Ian tune it. I don't know the horsepower output yet, but it's probably gonna be somewhere like, he thinks like 600 to 800, but I guess it depends on meth or pump gas. So probably gonna be like 5 something on pump gas. That'll be cool. So this guy grip races the car. Set up for grip race. He goes to Willow a lot. He's already got coilovers on it, nice tires on it, and some raised wheels on it. Raised Gramlite Volks. He has Ecutec titanium exhaust on it. So he's already done a decent amount of mods, but then he wants more power now. This will be cool. Let us get started and we'll kind of update you. Joe still has not figured out how to... You've got to be kidding me. Let me see the light. Oh, there's nothing under there.
No, it's all like perfectly clean except for the latches.
So then what are we...
So it's like...
Guys, are we retarded?
Man, you can't say that.
Why is it so hard to open the hood?
Are you kidding me?
It says ×2 on the handle. Joe didn't read it.
Why?
Because it says ×2 on the handle. It's a BMW, just like their door handles.
Sorry, I guess
Remember?
I've never read the hood latch.
He's never owned a BMW, guys.
I don't really like them.
So this is the area we were thinking. Wait, the fan just came on? This is where, apparently that's the fan for the cabin air. But we're gonna try and put a meth tank. We're gonna undo this little thing in here and see the space we have. Engine bay isn't the prettiest when you have that cover off, is it?
It's a little messy.
Looks kind of dumb compared to the 90s motors, but
look,
that's what those covers are for.
Look how the turbo is set up though. It's just like these 8 bolts that you can actually reach every single one of them.
But that'll change next year when they change the head, so this is the one and only year of easiness. Assuming we'd have to pull a decent amount of stuff out and part of the exhaust off, so what we're gonna do is just kind of get to know the car. Then Joe's gonna read all these links that the owner had sent him on what he's gonna have to work on, so he familiarizes himself slightly before we just jump into a brand new car and take forever. So we're gonna do it so we can work efficiently and quickly and not mess anything up. Well, we're gonna begin. We'll share some stuff with you guys as we go. Mark V. Meth pump, meth tank, line for meth.
We love meth.
I would prefer not to do meth injection and just straight E85 setup, but then this might be the easier route, I guess, at the very beginning of things. Check this out though. Intake manifold, spacer with fuel rail, with extra injector, built in. It's gonna get complicated, boys. Some like plug and play setup thing. Additional injector controller. And like a Y feed thing. So where's the fuel pump? Is this the fuel pump?
This is a
So then there's additional hard lines for fuel, clip-on piece for fuel, 3D printed something for whatever, a fuel pump. It's like mechanical fuel pump. What the heck? Let's see this. The suspense.
Yeah, it's mechanical.
Whoa, it's like a diesel truck here, boys. Quite the process. We got some stuff to do. Look at that internal wastegate actuator. Whoa. That's an electronic wastegate, isn't it?
Looks like it.
No boost lines. The future's here.
Future's now, old man.
This is not gonna be a 1 day. This might be like 2 days. No, it's probably 3 days, then tune it. We'll be back on and off for a couple days, guys. All right, talk to you soon. So we're jumping back on the MKV Supra. It's been a couple of weeks. Had a lot of stuff happen in between. We made a plan with Ben Calibration, talked to the owner of the Supra, and we got some parts from ProMeth. So the pump that we were going to use wasn't gonna be sufficient. Maybe the pump itself was, but the bottom piece here where you'd have like inlet outlet from the tank is far less. This is a higher volume pump, but so talking further with the owner of ProMeth, he was saying you're gonna need to feed a -8, which this is a quarter ID, so you're not anywhere near -8 size, and probably you could get away with like -6 or something for the power levels this would make, but that has no options to put a MPT thread in here with a union to upsize it. So we're gonna use the same tank that the customer had provided, but we can upsize the feed here to -8, like a 90 with like, looks like it's quarter MPT to a -8. Feed it into this, same over here, quarter MPT to -8, run a hose. Then from here, you're only gonna use a -4 feed line that goes into this rail, and it has individual port injection basically. So it looks similar to nitrous when you're looking at it, but it's just gonna help cool down the intake temps and let him run a little more boost. So that's our plan. We still have to integrate it into the ECU and the fuel map, but Ben Calibration will be doing that. Ian, our guy that tunes most of our cars here. So that is our current plan. Before we open this up, we wanted to show you guys. This will still mount real nicely in that pocket down in there, kind of hidden, and then we'll just have like one feed line. Intake manifold needs to be drilled and tapped very cautiously for these, so we're gonna do that. And then this is how Ian's gonna tune it, with like this little like port cable, and then he'll just put multiple maps in there. And later, when there is a flex fuel option for this vehicle, or like a bolt-in pump hanger or something that can up the fuel pressure without, or maybe an upgraded mechanical fuel pump, one or the other, then we will do this added injector thing. But it's kind of like an incomplete system as of right now. It's not for sure going to work, and we're not going to drill into the tank and add MPT just drilled into a brand new car's tank. That's not how, we just don't do stuff like that here. It's gonna like leak, and it's not like a for sure thing that'll continue lasting. This is what Joe's working on right now, and then we'll kind of show you guys a little step by step as he's like moving further along in the intake manifold with drilling cautiously. And they did supply a -4 line. We might not use that because we'll probably use XRP crimp lines, like the nitrous line that we normally use. That's where we're at with that. Let's see how far we can get with it today.
All right, so this is what I've been working on. This is the ProMeth injection fuel rail. Basically what we did here was each one of these holes we had to carefully drill out. I sanded it down a little bit and then put a little bit of E6000 over here on there, because that's what they included in the kit. And everything is just basically put these in, carefully fitted each of these lines and bent it a tiny bit to get it to fit just right. Fitted the whole fuel rail. This is the little solenoid that allows methanol to go into the rail, and then this other end of it is going to go to another injector that goes to the charge pipe. So it'll have these 6 individual injectors and then a 7th injector in the charge pipe that'll be, you know, over here somewhere. So that's where I'm at right now. I got the new pump mounted up on this bracket that I had already built a little hose that goes to the Snow Performance reservoir right here. That should all work out just fine. The only thing that's going to be really difficult on this is I have so little space in there that I actually have to put this reservoir in after I've already fitted this bracket. So basically I have to put the bracket in, put the reservoir in, fit this hose up to it, and then tighten up the 4 bolts that hold the reservoir to the bracket, and that's gonna be the hard part. I just have to build a hose for this to go to the solenoid, and then that should be the last thing before I can finalize putting everything together and install this intake manifold. I'll show you guys what that looks like after I'm done, and we'll see if everything works out the way we want it to. So I'm inching closer to getting this thing put together, and what I found out was I wasn't going to be able to get a wrench onto this fitting. So what I did was there's a chassis brace that goes from here to the firewall and across and around, and basically I had to remove that because it went over this area where I'm actually putting this whole assembly here. So I removed that so I could put this in as one assembly, and I also attached this line that I have yet to cut to put the other side of the fitting on here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in, finalize everything, get it all bolted up, and then route this line wherever it is that I want it, and then when it comes time to crimp it, I'll just bring the crimp machine over here and do that, the other end of that, so it hooks up to this end of the fuel rail thing. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I'll show you guys when it's all done. One last little update before I'm kind of done for the day. I got this set up back here where the meth pump is behind there and the tank is right there. We've got the wires for the pump, the wires for the low level sensor in the reservoir. I ran the pressure line in front of the reservoir here through the plastic right there and along the firewall to the solenoid here. We're also gonna have to wire up the solenoid, so we'll get that set up tomorrow probably. I got the rail set up here, the intake manifold installed, and built the final line that goes to the charge pipe here. So it goes from there through this little one-way valve here and into this. Right now it's an 8, but we might be switching it to a size 12. That's just about it for this one. Then tomorrow we're gonna talk to Ian about it and figure out how exactly we're gonna get this thing tuned. You guys will see that tomorrow. For right now, this is it. Hey guys, so I'm just going over a couple of things. I finished up all the wiring on the car today, so I'm gonna show that to you as soon as I grab a flashlight. Get wrench. We've got our reservoir right here. We've got our pump right behind it. Right here, I have power for the controller that's gonna do the whole meth injection kit. And then here's for the solenoid. This is for the little light that tells you when your reservoir level is low. And then right now I'm just finding a place for this boost line to go. But I've got this little relay tucked in there. I've got a whole bunch of grounds going to that guy. I grabbed the signal from the fuel pressure sensor because it requires that, and then I also grabbed power from one of the coil wires. That's just going to be ignition on signal for that relay over there, which is actually powered off of stud over here. I got the little display going on right there, and this little light tells you when your reservoir is low, and all that wiring is getting tucked up underneath here. It just kind of dives into there and then goes through the firewall up there. So when I power the car on, the little screen comes on, and that's kind of all we need right now. In a little bit we're going to get Ian on the phone and we're going to figure out how exactly we're going to get this thing set up. That's all we've got done for today. Lots of wiring, lots of kind of making things look nice and clean and tucking and everything like that. This is the only outlier. I couldn't find a place to hide that. I hope you guys like that. We'll show you what it's like to set this thing up, and after we get it all tuned and everything, we'll probably show you how the customer reacts to it or something. All right, see you guys later.
All right, so we're here with Ian. He's on the other end of my phone. we are doing a little bit of updates on the ECU for this guy. So he's gonna write a new map for it so we can make some more power with the pure turbo. And then we also did the ProMeth individual injection kit, so it has 6 port injection and then 1 like Joe showed you guys on the intake here, and then 6. Joe did some wiring yesterday, and we are pretty close to being able to go to the dyno and or get logs of it so that we can start applying the meth. But first we want to just do the straight tune, then we'll do the meth after that. So that'll be the meth controller down in there. That little light is saying that the tank is low. It's like not simple to set this up, but after you get to know it, it's not going to be that bad to do these more of these cars in the future. Wasn't too bad. It's pretty fun. And then Ian's already like really good at tuning BMW stuff, and this is a BMW platform, so it's a no-brainer. So he's working on the other end, and then we'll have more updates for you guys soon. But I just wanted to show you what we're doing here. We're doing Ecutec. That's what most of the guys are doing here on these new Supras. And later this guy will probably update his system to running E85, but right now there isn't a proper kit that we like the way it's set up, I guess. It seemed like there's going to be much better stuff coming soon, so we're kind of waiting for that to come out. Alright, more updates soon. So we're on the final stages of the tunes and the maps on this car. I want to show you some cool stuff. So it uses Ecutec as its ECU flashing setup or system. Here's the app. So you go into my car, and it'll find the car, and then it's Bluetooth over to it. So like if you want a data log, you could. If you want to switch between maps, you could hit the different maps and watch up on the dash. So like we're on map 3, let's go to map 1. It goes to 1000 RPM on the there. Watch, I'll go to map 2, jumps to 2. If you go to map 3, it'll jump up to 3. Sorry it's a little blurry, but that's changing maps. Like if you want a data log, it's really cool to send to your tuner. This will have all your different parameters that he wants. And in our case, we're working with bend calibration, like always. Like if you got a check engine light, you could just jump over here and it will tell you right now we have no check engine lights. But like it would tell you if you want to like use this as your, I don't know, your dashboard, it'll tell you stuff. You can always modify all this stuff. And then this is pretty cool. This is like how the exhaust would sound. Make it quieter or louder on your decel burble. Obviously it's not going to do it right. Well, it might do it when I rev it. Yeah, see how it's way tuned down when I turned it off basically. So there's that, and then you could do torque maximum. You could raise and lower your torque. And RR controller, which is like your race ROM, but it's like the different tunes. Within each tune you could adjust how much torque, so that maybe you're on a racetrack and you want it a little, you know, less. So it's pretty freaking cool. And this would like kind of tell you some more information. It can do anything that the ECU would see basically, which I thought was cool because it's like what my race car dash does, but on your phone. It's making me want this car and any modern car that has the capability. So that's how we set that up. And then here you have your snow performance controller. This is the one the customer supplied. He chose this one. We had to go to ProMeth and update the pump to be a stronger one that we wanted, but we're still using their controller. You can turn this off or leave it on. In this case it's on right now, but if he was to go on his number 1 and number 2 maps, he turns that meth setup off and doesn't run it. Let's look under the hood real quick. Okay, so you guys had seen the meth setup that we did. It's working good. We had a little bit of trial and error with like testing it, making sure it would work before we go and like, you know, do a run with boost and meth, because you're gonna change the timing so much. We didn't want there to be any accidents with that, so a little cautious on that, and we'll slowly work our way into it, but it's working. We haven't made it to the dyno yet. He's gonna take the Supra and go to Supras in Vegas and just have like mild revisions on these tunes, and then later come back, and when he's got time, the customer meaning is what I'm saying, when he has time, we'll throw it on the dyno and get him his numbers and go as far as we can go with it safely. And then as more parts are more readily available for this car, like let's say if like Radium or someone else, Powerhouse or someone makes a drop-in pump hanger, which is what I would want, a drop-in pump hanger for an additional pump and a feed line to this other additional external, like spaced, where it had the, I think we showed you guys earlier, the extra fuel rail basically, but it's like individual port injection, because this car runs on direct injection. So we added that many injectors, but we'd need to wire them in, and we would need to set up, like, I was hoping a bigger fuel pump with ethanol, so E85. So then at that point you wouldn't really need meth anymore, but he has it, so then I don't know, he could do ethanol and meth. That sounds like a lot of stuff going on, but for now we're just doing meth, and it looks like everything's working right. This car turned out really cool. I'll try and capture the customer if we can when he's here. If not, this is kind of like the final like go around with this car, but I may or may not have tested it, and it just wants to spin all the way through third gear and like almost spin fourth gear now. I know it has shorter gears because it's an 8-speed, but this car is pretty fun to drive with the traction control off. It just like wants to go like immediate boost, even though it's a larger the pure 800 turbo. It's just like instantly spooled because of the way the dual Vanos is, or however they have it set up with like the variable timing, and it's just gone. Like the second you hit the gas, the response is just right there. It's pretty fun. All right, so that's the MK5. I'm sure we're gonna do a lot more of these. They're getting more and more popular, and they're pretty easy to work on, and we kind of figured out a lot working on this one. We know it pretty good now, so hope to see more of these. All right guys, see you later.